Morning glory and hallelujah, Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen. Of course, I have no idea when you're watching this. It could be the morning, it could be the afternoon, it could be the evening. Whenever it is, wherever it is, welcome in. It's week 4, and I, Commissioner Joe Johnson, am going to break down all of the great matchups that we've got going on this week, and maybe looking at our lineups, looking at our teams, looking at what's going on in our league that somehow maybe helps you in your league. Maybe you're watching for the first time. Maybe you've been watching. Hopefully you're enjoying and you're back at it. Maybe it's just that super sexy voice that is yours truly. Nevertheless, we love to have you in. Please take a moment, like and subscribe. Get us out there. Let everybody know how much fun we're having here in Fantasy Gents this year. And like I said, if you watch the recap, if you haven't, I'm not going to repeat it. You got to go watch it. So much action happening. The Johnsons have entered combat. We are on the board. We are challenging, and we said it was nothing going to stop Josh and Joe Johnson getting wins last week. We saw our rookie who was living life high and dry and in the sun crumbling back. It really wasn't a crumble. You scored 110 points. We've talked about it for the last 3 weeks. That's usually going to get you a win. But Brennan, the dangerous man this year, getting it done, showing the rookie that it takes experience and one hell of a sucky season to get right here in Fantasy Gents and one of the best teams this year, Brennan, and so much more, so many things. We do have 2 owners. One we already know, Forrest, and then Brauc Hudgens sitting 0-3. And Brauc, let me let you know, I don't give a rat's ass that this is the only league that you're 0-3 in, and your other leagues you're undefeated or 2-1, and oh golly gee willikers, it doesn't matter, because this is the best league that ever is or will be. And this is the league that only matters. This is only league. This is the league that matters. So you might as well just quit those other leagues. I don't care. You've been playing fantasy with Brennan and Austin and Jonathan. It didn't matter until you joined the Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen. So let's understand that you're telling us something, and that's you're not very good at fantasy football, And maybe those guys, they're helping you out. Maybe those guys are giving you. It's nice. It's nice of those other guys, because I can see them in our league. They're 2-1. They're 3-0. They're on the board. You, sir, you're 0-3. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay, these are charitable men who would help such a piss poor player like yourself in those other leagues. Notice we don't have another league for Forrest. We just let him suck in and of himself. So, guys, you already know. Take a moment. Push out all the distractions, the wife, the kids, the paperwork, the job, the boss, the cars on the street, wherever you are. Lock it in, because it's week 4 of the Fantasy Gents. Let's break it down. It's game 1. Brennan Scala taking on Forrest Dozier, the dangerous man and the grand wizard, going at it tilt to tilt, and Forrest has got a statement to make. He needs to get a win. You cannot start. So many different things come into play when you start a league 0-4, 0-5. And I'm here to tell you, I've seen people go 0-5, and not to say that Forrest would give up. I know that's not the case. But I have seen people go 0-5 and win a championship. Now, that hasn't happened in this league, but I have seen it in other leagues, and I'm sure there are similar stories that can be told. So, must win, and you've got the injury stack again. Just the deck stacks against you, Forrest, but heart of the cards. We know it can be done. But Brennan, I'm not going to take anything. Your projection is good this week, and we already know you're dangerous, and things are just happening for you this season. Let's go ahead and break the teams down. Lamar Jackson gets Buffalo. You've got to be tapering expectations. Look how good Buffalo has looked, and let's be honest, even in the game against Dallas and the previous games, I mean, this Ravens team is still finding itself, and We have questions at certain positions. Of course, we'll cover that when we get to my team. And people want to accuse me of trade rape, and you see what Chandler is getting away with and what I'm not getting. Okay, you see that we'll get there. So James Cook and Ramondre Stevens, running backs 1 and 2, they look fantastic. It was not a good week for Ramondre Stevens last week, and it's going to be another tough week against San Francisco and tough defenses, Brennan. And this is one of those things where Forrest can get one in on you already. Buffalo, Baltimore, and San Francisco tonight, which should be a fun game. I think CeeDee Lamb is going to blow this projection away. New York Giants defense is not someone I'm particularly worried about, but I'm not worried about Dallas's defense either. And so, yes, I want all the pieces of this game tonight. Drake London and New Orleans, as your wide receiver 2. Parkinson, the tight end, oh my goodness, here against Chicago. Not you clearly, kind of like myself, in a hole at tight end at the moment, and maybe some streaming options available. I just think with that, the injuries in the O-line, it's just, I can't believe they were able to win against San Francisco. That's just amazing. 5 points, but that's what you need. With this team, with this build of this team, Brennan, you need 5 points. You got it last week, so if you get your 5 points, you're happy. Zach Moss against Carolina should eat it up. San Francisco, the defense, and Aubrey, the kicker, best kicker in the league, so that should be fun. It's a 31-point projection for us. It doesn't look good. I do agree with this start. Danny Dimes, good waiver pickup. Better, you do not want. The only thing good in Denver is our defense, and like I said, I think right now we're currently ranked in the NFL the 7th best defense, and they have been tearing quarterbacks apart. So I actually love that. I'm not afraid of Dallas's defense. I love Danny Dimes here. Aaron Jones and Tajay Spears, running backs 1 and 2. Aaron Jones, Green Bay, love it. Revenge game. I don't necessarily like Tajay Spears, but with Miami out of whack, I mean, and who you have to start. We're going to roll with it. Now, it does show Tank Dell's questionable. It does appear he is not going to play, so you're probably going to have to bring up a wide receiver. Already down Debo, and you don't even want to start Xavier Worthy in your flex. If we were any other league, you'd have dropped him. And again, that's not because you can't drop him. We're deep league. We're starting people like Xavier Worthy here. So you don't want to, but you're going to have to. I love the Leggett play. Hopefully we see more of that from the Red Rifle, what we saw last week to this week transitions. Tennessee defense, good waiver pickup, and Elliott, the kicker, it's only 90. We imagine maybe you get 10-ish more points. It puts it right at 100. The scoring struggles without Debo are there, and Brennan's on a tear. So you've got to show me, Forrest, you can do it. And you already know, give me Brennan Scala here in game 1 of week 4. Game 2 shows us just how devastating injuries are here in Fantasy Gents when you're in those deeper leagues, 14, 16 plus man leagues. Just one player is devastating. Multiple players even more so, and even still, Brauc still has a projection of 113. He's made some great waiver pickups to fill in for those holes and is holding on. And it's not so much, last week bad production, but you're there in projection. You just need it to translate. But Austin, our rookie, was sitting nice 2-0, thought he had a 3-0, and Brennan showed him what for, looking to bounce back, find himself in the winning form. It's going to be a struggle. It's a 131. Again, it's almost 20 points, and when we see this, we tend to lean towards that heavier projection. Let's break it down as Kyler Murray looks to have a better game, but Washington statistically one of the worst defenses here in the NFL. And, big game. I imagine Kyler probably scored more than 20 here. Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker coming back from injury. Looks like he's going to play. Projection is there. But I'm tapering expectation for Breece Hall because our defense is fantastic. And I think this is going to be closer. If you look at all the Denver games, they're really closer. And then I mean, is somehow what happened against Tampa Bay, the light at the end of the tunnel has been found. Could we see? I don't know. I'm just, the Jets haven't looked phenomenal. I think that Garrett Wilson's going to struggle. We'll talk about that when we get to Aaron Grogg's team. But I think this could be maybe an Allen Lazard day and maybe a Brennan Allen day. So we'll just see. And then, of course, who knows with Ken Walker, right? Devontae Adams and Rashee Rice, wide receivers 1 and 2, great matchups. Here's where the points are going to come flooding in. Cleveland, not afraid. The Chargers, this is going to be fun. And look at the projections are already there. Brock Bowers, again, Cleveland, boom, love it. James Conner, Washington, love it even more. This is just juicy matchups here in the bottom 2/3 of the team. Jets defense and Prater, the kicker here, it's 131. Good Lord. And Brock, you're in the same boat as Forrest. You need a win. You don't want to start 0-4. You don't want to go 0. The prospect of possibly going 0-5, and not saying that. Again, I pointed out with Forrest, you can go 0-4, 0-5, and somehow make the playoffs and somehow win a championship. Let's never say never, never say always. But probable, not so much. So, don't want to, you just somehow got to find a win here. Sam Darnold, can he keep it going? Green Bay, I like the matchup. Devon Achane and Rico Dowdle in this game against defenses that are struggling. I love it. Especially with the injury. It should be all Devon Achane in this game. Mike Evans, projected to play, is questionable. Keep that in mind. I know that I've read some things that, I think we're more game time decision than we want to admit here. Hopefully not. Jawan Jennings comes off a 46-point day. I don't expect that, but as long as Debo's out, let's see what happens with Brandon Ayuk. But clearly him and Purdy have a connection, and this should translate against New England. Trey McBride, I don't think is going to play at all. I get he's projected points, but I imagine you're going to be looking for a new tight end come Sunday here. Tyreek Hill, who if we were in a 10-man league, you'd be playing someone else. But you in Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen, you are starting Tyreek Hill on a wing in a prayer. He finds a broken play and scores. I think this projection might be even generous. Miami's defense and Bates, the kicker. Brock, everything in me wants you to win this game. I don't need a rookie running a table again. We've already seen that with Austin. Not 2 years in a row. You are now a sophomore, a 2-year vet. I expect better from you, sir. Let's get it together. Let's get it done. Let's get a win. But unfortunately, I am going to pick Jonathan Andrews in this game. Rashi's fried rice, because there's just no way. The matchups are too juicy. I can't ignore statistics, but that isn't where the heart is. That's not where the heart is this week for you, Brock. Game 3 features the two Aarons, co-commissioner Aaron Grogg and Wisconsinite Aaron Felch. It is the battle of the Aarons, and it is not looking good. It is a 15-plus projection in favor of Mr. Grogg, and let's understand the ramifications. Whoever wins this game proves that they're the better Aaron. And what more? And that's like, to me, do I replace Aaron Felch as co-commissioner of Aaron Grogg? I can't have a subpar Aaron. I need the best Aaron. And all I have is a projection, so I guess we'll have to break it down as Joe Burrow, big game last week, gets Carolina, and couldn't ask for a better matchup here just because life was brought into this team and it was a shellacking last week. I can't imagine that the same thing happens. Maybe the offense has improved. I still think we have doubts about their defense. So, yeah, Joe Burrow having a good game. Rachaad White and Alvin Kamara. And Philadelphia's defense, we saw that it was a a rough game for both New Orleans and Philadelphia players last week when it came to, or at least specifically New Orleans, the ground game. And Rachaad White is losing touches to Bucky Irving, but now Bucky Irving is projected with injury and is not going to play. So I guess this actually is a good setup for Rachaad White here. Not so much defense-wise. I'm tapering expectation. Alvin Kamara against Atlanta. I like that a little better. Here's where it does get rough. Garrett Wilson and Chris Godwin both. Garrett Wilson gets Denver. You run into the Patrick Surtain show, and I think it's more of an Allen Lazard day. Chris Godwin, the Philadelphia Eagles are still susceptible to the pass. That hasn't changed from last year, so I do like Chris Godwin here, especially if Mike Evans is out, but Godwin also with the questionable tag, but I'm thinking Mike Evans is the one who misses here, not Chris Godwin, but you are monitoring it. Sam pooped his pants last week. Gotta do better, and with the injury, well, I'm almost surprised, as bad as that looked, that he would play. I guess the projection from what I'm reading is he is going to be able to play. Nico Collins, I have him in my other league, and I guess he's dealing with some injury here. It's not projected to keep him out. I think it's just kind of like monitoring and keeping him limited in practice, but nothing I've read that is going to keep him out. Cleveland, the defense, and Young Hoku, the kicker. I think the only thing you're really monitoring here is Sam Laporta, Aaron Grogg. And the projection is in your favor. It's 122. Don't take anything away from Mr. Felch. I think he can prove that he's the best Aaron too. I feel like the Joker. We're going to have tryouts. And, this instead of a sharpened, broken in half pool stick, we're using fantasy, which is somewhat safer. Some might argue, maybe not. Jalen Hurts gets Tampa Bay. Okay, we saw what Bo Nix did. Surely Jalen Hurts can have a good day. Kyron Williams, Tony Pollard, and I much prefer, you've got Chicago's defense with Williams all day, Miami's all out of whack, and normally I would say we're not starting Tony Pollard or Tajay Spears, but this week actually could work out. This is where I'm real serious. I don't know, and I get Aaron, deep league, you got to start who you have. I really am here to tell you I don't know if I'm starting Michael Pittman. Anthony Richardson looks bad, and we'll talk about that when we get to him here in a moment. But, it doesn't look good. Averaging like 250 yards, bad. 3 interceptions. We know he's throwing 1 at least. I do not think you can start a passing, a receiving player I really am only starting Jonathan Taylor. I'm not starting Anthony Richardson, and I don't know if I can start Michael Pittman. But again, you play who you got to play. But even more to your chagrin, Pittsburgh has shown they have a top 10 defense. They are fantastic. Calvin Ridley hasn't looked good. We have problems with the offense in Tennessee. They get Miami. That's maybe your only saving grace here. Juwan Johnson, again, another rough hole. Atlanta, maybe that helps you out as they were playing a little stingy there against Kansas City. Ladd McConkey has to get into the end zone. Minnesota, the defense. Gay, the kicker. It's 106. I think you're lucky to be at that, to be perfectly honest. I think right now it's rough. I think maybe looking into the running back situation is not so bad. It's just the wide receiver choices, and I going into the draft, I'm with you. Pittman, Ridley, why not? They're just not panning out, my friend. So maybe we can, you're hoping for the boom, you're hoping for longevity, late season, mid-season, late season. We've got to turn it on, but we're weeks away from that. You got to start seeing it. And again, tapering expectations, Pittsburgh, and then Calvin Ridley, Miami, okay. Nevertheless, I am going to pick for the Aaron Bowl. Give me Mr. Grogg, co-commissioner, to get the win this week. Now the games get really good as Game 4 features Jordan Payne taking on Derrick Ash and this game projected within 8 points. So we're getting to the really don't know which way we're going to go. And even more impressive is, and it's been rough the last couple weeks, but still just holding on and still managing to get that over 100. It's so important to get your projection at that 110. Aaron, you're at 106. You're 4 points from that number. Here we have Jordan 108. He's 2 points from that number, but Mr. Consistency, Derrick Ash, projected 117. There's some tough defenses this week, but if there's anybody who I think can get it done, I think it's Derrick. And then, of course, he does have the projection in his favor. Let's just break it down. Jordan, can Josh Allen get another 30-point week? You need it to happen. Baltimore, I think this is perfect. This is exactly what we need. This is what you need to see. Did I invest the right kind of value into Josh Allen if he can put 25, 30 points on Baltimore's defense? Singletary, who I am big on. I have him in another league. Actually, I have him in every league except for this one. And I'm in on him. I think I'm not worried about Dallas's defense. Love. I want, like I said it earlier, I want almost every part of this Dallas and New York Giants game. So the Wan'Dale Robinsons and the Malik Neighbors. I want CeeDee Lamb. I think I want Tolbert over Brandon Cooks, but I want Ferguson. I want Dak. I want Danny Dimes. I love it, Forrest. Again, I think this is going to be a great game for all these players. Fantasy fun. Yeah. Carson Steele, who did, I think, better than maybe some of us were thinking, maybe better than you thought would do, Jordan. But now enter the Kareem Hunt. So we'll see what happens here. Christian Kirk actually showed life, and Darnell Mooney, I think, was, again, missed him by 15 minutes. Fell asleep. Don't fall asleep during fantasy season, guys. And yeah, I think it's a good fit here. Now, New Orleans, I'm tapering expectation. Christian Kirk, I want to see it. But you've got the injuries. You're starting who you can, my man. I understand. Dalton Kincaid found a touchdown. Need him to find. Need the stack to work out. Chuba Hubbard looked fantastic. Can he save your week this week? Houston, the defense, and Boswell, the kicker, it's 108. Oh, Derrick, what did we just talk about? Anthony Richardson, don't like it. 5 points ain't going to get it done, and you know just as well as I do that if you cannot score more points with him when it comes to bigger games and long-term down the road, you ain't going to make it, son. So I'm not starting Anthony Richardson, and I'm not starting him in this league, and I am not starting him against Pittsburgh. Absolutely not. Change your quarterback, sir. Derrick Henry and Brian Robinson, running backs 1 and 2. The only thing I worry about here with Derrick Henry, 1, Buffalo, but then Justin Hill's kind of becoming a thing, and I don't really like that. The game script went in his favor. He showed us he still got it. I don't think that's going to be this way. I think Buffalo's going to force Lamar to throw the ball. Big Zay Flowers game. Chandler will talk about it here in a minute. We hate it. Also, Chandler, Austin Eckler looks like he is not going to play and was cooking with hot sauce last week before that concussion issue. And now, Brian Robinson is a real start this week. I love it. And Amon St. Brown and Malik Neighbors. Hoo-wee, dog. That is one of the reasons you're 3-0, my friend. Ferguson, again, just talked about it. You want everything here. Odunze coming in. Thank you for not spiting me and spitting in my face by starting another tight end 2 weeks in a row. That would have hurt, sir. But yeah, obviously Odunze coming back from injury looks good against the Rams. I like it. Indianapolis, the defense, and Dicker, the kicker. See, this is what's happening. Okay, I know you don't ever, you never, it's almost a thing. You purposely, whoever your favorite team is, you don't draft those people for 2 reasons. One, you get too emotionally involved, and then you get, especially in the draft, you're like, oh, I like my team, and I picked this guy because they're from my team. And so So you focus on that by love of a team and not what you need to do for your fantasy team. Number two, it's a fucking curse. You see, I picked Javonte Williams because he looked like the best pick right then in the round that I took him, and I'm a Denver fan. Why not? And it is absolutely cursing me. I know for a fact Derrick Ash is an Indianapolis fan. Okay, maybe y'all didn't know. Maybe you did. Don't know, but I know, and I'm saying it now. And look what you've done to yourself. But don't think you're alone, because I'm doing it to myself too. So Anthony Richardson, you can't start him, and I can't start Javonte Williams. So whoo-hoo-hoo. Anyway, I have to pick one for this game, and I think this is going to be closer. I think this is going to be closer, but lots of tough defenses for both. I think the 117, I think there's going to be lower scoring than that. Nevertheless, I have to go with what I think here. I think we have a better running back core, Derrick, and the wide receiver matchup isn't even close. And in a PPR league, I'm already going to go. Give me Derrick Ash, Mr. Consistency, here in week 4. Now we're getting real close in projection. In our Game 5 matchup, I have Austin Allen and that which shall not be named, he that is forever unclean, Mr. Stinky, Evan Coles. And this game, within 5.5 points, super close, 118 to 112. So both of these teams to hit that 110 marker that we talk so much about, or maybe I talk about, whatever. You agree, disagree, want to fight about it? Don't care. Anyway, let's see if Austin can keep it going. Evan, looking for a win, needs to show a little more consistency. Can Brennan Ayuk get it going, or is it now the Juwan Jennings show? I'm starting on the wrong side of the board, Mr. Austin. We'll start with C.J. Stroud, who absolutely did not do anything for you in a shellacking. I would think that they're going to come out and play angry. I'm not afraid of Jacksonville. I love this matchup here. Saquon Barkley, who should be on Forrest's team, and we all know it, but nevertheless, there he is, sitting there getting 30 points a game for you. Tampa Bay, we saw what Denver did. Why not? Jareem Gibbs, Seattle, maybe tapering expectation a little bit here. And let's face it, he's actually been outscored by David Montgomery on he's had the majority. I mean, it's not even close. It wasn't like last year. It was much closer to 50-50, and this it's like 80-20, 70-30. It's really actually closer to 80-20, and David Montgomery is just slaying. Stephon Diggs and T. Higgins come into this as wide receivers 1 and 2, and the matchups are juicy as Jacksonville and Carolina with the respective defenses. Kittle runs into New England, and I think this could be another game where it's, Juwan Jennings and George Kittle. He is banged up. You're watching that, but I'm not worried. San Francisco looking good. Brock Purdy should have another good night. Wan'Dale Robinson, what did I say? Everybody wants in on the Thursday night football game tonight. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I think Wan'Dale Robinson's going to have a great flex play. Great flex play, man. Green Bay and Cairo Santos, defense and kicker. It's 118. So a good mix of juicy and tough matchups there. The one that just gives me pause is, Gibbs in Seattle. Seattle's playing better than I think some of us thought they would. On the other hand, Evan, is Mahomes giving you the production that you drafted him at? And I think the answer is absolutely not. And the Chargers defense is really the only thing good that I like here. I mean, I will say that I think we're going to see more passing, and I don't think that Travis Kelce has been in football shape and form, all that jazz. He's been, swifting out and in the off season and getting fat and slow, and he's a Kelce. He's got to get back into shape here. And the age, I think, a little bit of the age is playing into part here, but we've got better days to come, and then when we see Travis Kelce improve, we'll see Patrick Mahomes improve. Josh Jacobs and Najee Harris, running backs 1 and 2. Tapering expectation here for Josh Jacobs, but then maybe a little better. Jaylen Warren may not be playing. I don't think Cordell Patterson is somebody that is someone I'm worried about. I don't think they're going to use him. I mean, maybe I should now that I think about it. I forget Arthur Smith is now in Pitt. Maybe we do need to worry about Cordell Patterson a little bit here. I was thinking it was the Najee Harris show without Jalen Warren, but watch Arthur Smith FU in the A, just like he did everyone in Atlanta for the last 2 years, really. Justin Jefferson and Brandon Ayuk, wide receivers 1 and 2. I love the matchups. And then Brandon Ayuk, I would like to see him do better. I think he is going to do better. I think that, was not part of the team, was sitting out, not practicing. You've got to get back into the groove of things in the NFL. The NFL happens fast, and you have to be in shape. Again, we see this with Travis Kelce, and we're seeing that with several players, and maybe you're seeing it with Anthony Richardson, but you're not starting him, Derrick. Change your freaking quarterback. David Njoku, who against Las Vegas, I'm here to tell you that you're monitoring his health situation, but Deshaun Watson is horrible. You're waiting for Jameis Winston. Okay, I think the Amari Cooper, you got lucky. I watch there just be as pitiful as it has been, because Deshaun Watson is hot garbage. Love Jameson Williams, maybe the tough defense here in Seattle. It stifles him on St. Brown, but I mean that doesn't change Jameson Wilson. My God. Should be a fine flex play this week. I do like it. Dallas, the defense, who watch New York win this game. They shouldn't. Okay, this is a step it up game for Dallas. Like, we know who we are. Can we figure this out and win a game? But watch Dallas. Like, their defense is horrible. Watch New York win this game. Anyway, I just think it's going to be fun. I don't necessarily want them as a defense play this week, but I understand why. Tucker, the kicker. It's 112 to 118. It's super close. And I mean, there are things about me that want to pick you in this game, Evan, but then I step out on my porch that overviews a pool, and I look into the Oklahoma sky, and I take a big whiff, and then a stench from across town hits my nostrils, and I'm like, fuck, Evan is still in town. And so for that reason alone, and how bad you suck at fantasy football, I'm picking Austin Allen to get the win here in week 4. 2 games left to go, and they are super, super close in projection. They could go either way. It's not ironic that they feature both sets of Johnsons in this one. Game 6, I have Chandler Taylor off of a big win, taking on Josh Johnson off of a bigger win. Bring in all the action in this game. 3 points is all that separates the projection. It's 114 to 110, but Josh, you've got the number. It's there, and we know why we won last week, so let's just dive right into this one, as I think this game is going to be exciting. This is super fun. This is a match. This is why we love fantasy football. It's for matches like this and for setups like this. Chandler's got to keep this win streak going. Josh just got on the board, but his team is so much better, dealing with injuries, and finds life in week 3. I love it. Brock Purdy, Mr. Persianowski, is going to have a great game. You loved last week. You're going to love this week. It's New England. They're horrible. Bijan, now, I understand you're a little worried. I'm telling you, the way they do these injury designations, you could stub your toe, which actually a stub toe in the NFL would be something you'd want to know about. But like, you could scrape your arm. The point is, you could be walking down onto the field, and you scrape your arm something, and they're going to put you as questionable because you scraped your arm, something like that. So this questionable for Bijan Robinson, I'm not worried about. He is going to start. What I am worried about is how for real New Orleans looks. Like, their defense looks good. I mean, we saw a 15-12 NFL game Scoring is down significantly this year compared to last year. So Bijan Robinson in New Orleans, I mean, this could be another 12, 13-point game. I know it shows 20. Yeah, sure. But I'm tapering my expectation a little bit here. You cannot start DeAndre Swift. You have to change your running back. I do not care if it's the Rams. Again, we start who we can, but you have to trade. You have to trade into something, trade away from. You can't. DeAndre Swift is not startable. He is one of those players. I am telling you that is not startable at all in any league right now. Zay Flowers and Scary Terry, wide receivers 1 and 2, and I can't believe people think that if anybody, I trade raped you in the sense that you have absolutely. I think are coming out strong here. Yes, Wan'Dale Robinson, and now with the quarterback situation, that sucks. You're looking at 4 weeks of suckiness. But Scary Terry, they're figuring it out in Washington. You saw the 100 yards touchdown. It was everything you wanted. 20 points. I got 20 points. I had 0.6 more points with Chris Olave. The whole point was I was upgrading a tight end, and Mark Andrews looks. Oh my God. Warning, danger, Will Robinson. And you've got Pat Brennan, who's Mr. Consistency he's not going to be fantastic, but he's not going to be horrible. He's going to get you 8 to 10 points, and you're going to be happy, which is exactly what I preach every day about tight ends. Okay, so who raped who? I'm just saying. Dallas Goedert, 27 points, and it looks like he is going to lead this offense again. That's right. It's called acting. I can cry on command. It makes for a good performance, does it not? Are you not entertained? But yeah, Dallas Goedert with no A.J. Brown, no Devonta Smith, fun for me, and just absolute poop as other wide receivers. It's going to be the Dallas Goedert show. Tampa Bay, we saw what happened. This could be another 20-point tight end day for you, sir. Jalen Waddle, I am considering not starting him. Surely there's a flex play or a waiver pickup. I know the waiver is pretty bare bones after 3 weeks in our league, and but you might find a player that's going to have a better boom. I mean, the only thing you like is Tennessee. It's a horrible defense, and they're more worried about Tariq. So maybe he falls into the end zone, which is that's what you need. You need him to fall into the end zone. Pittsburgh, the defense, and Harrison Butker, the kicker. It's 1-14. You still, even with Jalen Waddle, you have the projection in your favor, but hold on, my friends. Josh Johnson found so much life that was needed when he did his draft. It took 3 weeks, but even these injuries have been stifling him. But look who showed up. And first of all, let's start with why are you starting Deshaun Watson? No, Josh. No, I know what you're about to say. Stop. No. Go get a different quarterback right now. Las Vegas they imploded last week. It was bad. It's not going to happen again. Cleveland's offensive line sucks. Deshaun Watson sucks. Las Vegas's defense is good. Change your quarterback, sir. You cannot win. J.K. Dobbins came crashing down to earth, and I think this is maybe the real J.K. Dobbins. This is kind of I think a good litmus test. Kansas City's defense is decent. You saw what they were able to do to Bijan Robinson. If J.K. Dobbins runs up the score on them, then I think you have a real top 10 running back possibly. But if we have another 5-8 point game, then I think you kind of realize the J.K. Dobbins that we really have here. Jordan Mason, New England, love it. Oh, it's going to be a great day. He'll make up for them Dobbin points, I promise. Amari Cooper, no, sir. I can't. I just can't see you do this. Like, surely and I get it's a stack. I get it, and I get it's Las Vegas. You don't want it, man. You don't want it. Maybe you start Amari. You start Amari because of what happened last week. You can't start Deshaun Watson. I know it's the Stack brother, but just say no. Deontay Johnson and the Red Rifle, and ignore. I understand Deontay Johnson had a questionable mark. He's fine. He will play. Oh, and we get Cincinnati. That's just fine. Big day coming. I have Deontay in another league. I have been absolutely just disgusted and just vomiting on how bad it's been because of how good he is. And Andy Dalton shows us what he can do. Yeah, he won you a week last week. Can he do it again? I think it's possible. Zach Ertz is going to get all the rookie quarterbacks dink and dunk. He's been checking down to Zach Ertz. I had Zach Ertz on my team just for the reasons we're talking about right now. And yeah, you're easily a good 5 to 8 points. We talked about it with Gibbs. David Montgomery has had less and is doing more, which is exactly what you want from your fantasy players. Now, is there going to be a day where it's bad? Sure. Against Seattle, I don't necessarily think so. Does this actually stifle Gibbs a little bit more? They're going to focus on him more and open the game up for Montgomery, and I love this play over the Waddle play. Buffalo's defense, I don't like that. Might want to switch that too. Not against Baltimore. I get they've been playing lights out, but just go with statistics. Pittsburgh definitely the better play against Indianapolis. And Fairbairn, the kicker, it is going to be super close. A 3-point spread means anybody could win, but you know what? Life, Joshua. We've seen it, and DeAndre Swift is going to have a horrible day unless I think you cannot play him. Dobbins could have a good day. I don't like Deshaun Watson, but either way, I just think our white, oh man, Scary Terry's. This is hard. I know what I'm just going to do what I want because it's my podcast. Don't care. Give it to me in the underdog match. Give me blood of my blood. Give me Joshua Johnson to get a second win, get back to 500 here in week 4. So that brings us to the last game of the week to cover, and that is our game of the week.
Wubba lubba dub dub! Bam! Woo! Woo!
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
And game of the week will feature yours truly, Commissioner Joe Johnson, taking on Jack Little Raven. And first of all, Jack, you changed your name, you jackass. I loved the Little Raven, and you were like, will I have my name in another league? We'll change it in that one, man, not ours. I mean, AT&T's nuts, that's funny. I mean, it's ha-ha funny, but, I mean, that's not how we know you. That's not what we've, put in our minds of the man who is Jack Little Raven. AT&T's nuts doesn't paint with the colors of the wind. He doesn't speak with the voices of the mountain. He doesn't use his ancestral flame to destroy those around him. What is this? I am displeased, sir, and I'm going to show my displeasure by putting it into your fantasy team this week. You thought that losing to Chandler, you thought that losing the Weatherford Bowl was bad. Well, now you're playing Final Boss. And this week, I have got some injuries. It's true. It's disappointing. No Devonta Smith, which handed me the edge, if you will, when you talk about the team structure. But we're all dealing with injuries. We're all having to make sacrifices this week, this year, this early, hopefully, and I do mean this for all of us. I'm like the Saiyans, man. I want to fight people at their true strength. I want to know that when I beat them, that I truly had the better team, had the better strength, whatever it is. And we're all banged up, man. We're all dealing with horrible injuries, and so both of us both of us, Jack, here, dealing with some injury. We'll start with my team as Dak Prescott gets New York Giants, and I told you, I've talked about it all, the whole episode, how much I want a part of this game. I get that a lot of his points came late last week, but yeah, I think I'm going well over this 17-point projection. Love having to go up against this Giants defense. Yeah, it should be fun. Not so much for Jonathan Taylor, my RB1, getting Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh defense, they've just been fantastic. So I might have a little more to worry about than I want to. I have no idea. I honestly haven't even made up my mind. I may start Javonte Williams. I may start Zeke. I told you I want everything here, but Zeke is losing touches to Dowdle. He's not producing. It's not great. So am I going to have to probably roll with Javonte Williams? Yeah, we'll see what happens. Marvin Harrison Jr. picks up a quadriceps questionable designation, but much like Javonte Williams and much like Bijan Robinson, I'm not worried about this designation. They're just, keep giving him a little extra time off the field before the game so he's ready to be game fit come Sunday. So, yeah, Chris Olave against Atlanta, we'll see, but I think this is another big matchup day. Maybe more passing here. I think more of a shootout in the sense that, that these running games are going to be stifled up. We know what Kamara, Atlanta knows that they're going to try and burn the ball with Kamara, and New Orleans knows that, they're fighting Bijan. So does this open up Drake London and Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, Darnell Mooney? I think another, much like the Dallas New York Giants game, this Atlanta New Orleans game, give me those receivers. Mark Andrews, Chandler Taylor. You knew. Maybe you know more things than I give you credit for, all right? But I will say Mark Andrews did come out and say that he just needs some patience and that he'll get things back on track. That was the man himself, so I'm certainly hoping that's the case because I have no other choice than to start Mark Andrews as I've traded, my depth away to Chandler, who is sitting pretty with Freiermuth on the bench. Oh, my God. Scary Terry scoring 20 points out of nowhere. My Lord. Tyler Lockett is going to come in for Devonta Smith, and maybe I start Jahan Dotson. Maybe they clear Devonta Smith. Who knows? I at this point in time, I have to go with what I think is going to happen. Pretty sure we're not going to see Devonta Smith. So this may be Tyler Lockett. This may be Jahan Dotson. We'll just see how that plays out and what I feel like. Las Vegas, the defense cannot implode on me again. Cannot do it twice in a row, and I'm stifling my hate because the schedule in fantasy, this is what you have to do, okay? You have to take your personal love and your personal hate of NFL and you push it out the window and you say, Las Vegas has a good defense and rightly has the right schedule for the next month that they should be a starting playable defense, and that's what you tell yourself as you cry in the shower. Moody, the kicker, it's 111. It's within 1 point. 1 point. Jack, you're right behind me. Hey-o. Careful what men you say that to, guys. Kirk Cousins coming against New Orleans. Three questionable statements right there. Kirk Cousins gets New Orleans. We saw the struggles that Jalen Hurts has. Travis Etienne did not look good last week. Had he just not gotten some junkyard running time or those passes, the freaking passes, I would have won a game last week. Oh, well. But yeah, didn't look good. Needs to have the game here against Jacksonville. I'm not afraid of them. Zamir White, you cannot. Here's another one. And it's only been like 4, so you don't act like it's a lot. But Zamir White, you cannot start Zamir White. I get it's Cleveland. I get it. They're horrible. You cannot start Zamir White. He's 3 points, 5 points is not going to cut it here in Fantasy Gen. Surely life can be found elsewhere. Trade. We've got time. Guys, we've had 2 trades. And there's plenty we can do to make our teams better. And that's the thing. When you are trading, don't think about winning the trade. Think about how I can improve this position. What do I need to do? And some of us, if we're 0-3, Forrest and Brauc, what do I need to do to get a win? I'll make another trade next week. I'll make another trade after that. Whatever I have to do. What can I do to get a win this week? You cannot start 0-4. Jack, obviously you're 1-2. I'm, just exampling around. Jamar Chase, who 29 points last week against Carolina, easily coming. I'm not looking forward to that matchup. That should be a thorn in my side. DK Metcalf gets Detroit, so this could be fun as well. And DK, I think, making a statement for maybe being that number one target. I'm still not convinced that JSN is the number 2 here. I still think that the rapport and the veterancy of Tyler Lockett. Watch if I keep Tyler Lockett in this game. Does DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett have a better game, and does that change the outcome of our game? Evan Ingram's not going to play. You're going to be changing your tight end. I don't know who you're going to play, but it's not going to be Evan Ingram. DJ Moore, again, will Keenan Allen not play? I'm out on DJ Moore. I've been out on DJ Moore. I'm out on Caleb Williams. How much more? I love the people. I love hearing all these people talk about, oh, Caleb Williams, it'll work out. No, man. Caleb Williams is going to go down as one of the biggest NFL draft busts of all time. He is horrible. He is a prima donna. I've said it again. He's more worried about what his earrings look like and what nail polish he's got on his fingers than he is playing a freaking football game. So good luck with this play. Seattle, the defense, and McPherson, the kicker. Oh, Jack, you already know I'm not going to pick you in this game. There's no reason to. I understand the game is close, but it doesn't change anything. We know what happens because we can pick up a history book and we can see who won already. Oop. Too soon. Anyway, I love you, brother, but not in fantasy, because it's going to be final boss getting this. The injury to Devonta Smith hurts, but you know what? We're built to absorb it. We're built to build around it and keep things going. We're working things out. Life is filling the blood veins, and we are going to get an all-out win. I think that, I'm sitting here telling you, don't start Zamir White and don't start DJ Moore and replace Evan Ingram. Bro, let him play. Let him play. And let me give you the third loss of the season here in week 4. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that takes care of all the matches we have for week 4. Let's go ahead and bring up those power rankings. And as you can see, Rashi's Fried Rice sits atop our week 4 power rankings. And, what did I talk about? Just has some really, really juicy matchups. I think you're going to be very hard-pressed, Evan. We can see you're sitting down at number 5. So really we have a top 5 matchup, Evan. So maybe you have more of a chance to win this game than I think. But then right behind it, Jerry's Kids, Silence of the Lamb, DEFCON 4. So there's our top 5 power ranked teams you would think, okay, and I guess we'll go half. So Arkham Knights and Weatherford Moonshiners, you can always put those 6, 7. We can swap them out a little bit. As you can see, all tied 84, 84, 82. Those are the owners you think should walk away statistically with a win here. Sitting on that bottom half is actually yours truly, Final Boss, Etienne D's Nuts, Limp, Penix, Mr. McGiblets, Hudgens Hierarchy, Team Felch, and the Grand Wizard. So find your opponent. Where do you match up? And it's going to be an interesting game, Jack. We're right there, 8-9, baby. So you can see why we're only 1 point. We're just gonna get into that nitty gritty. So good luck to everybody out there except Jack Little Raven. You can get the fuck off my lawn. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week for the week 4 recap. Take care. Peace out.